Welcome to the BLONGshow, part 2 of me talking about Jesus. I know we like to do this all the time, but what is this? What's up there? It's just clouds and space and all of that. God is everywhere. When you read Genesis, it says God put the waters of the heavens, split the waters of the sky from the waters of the land. And heaven was within the expanse. And the expanse was in between the waters of the sky and the waters of the land. You're in heaven. We just blow it. People blow this. Not God, not Jesus, not the devil, none of that. Us, ourselves. Just like Adam and Eve did. But we're talking about Jesus, so let's stick to that topic. And this is part 2 of what I'm talking about Jesus. So at this point, Jesus is now a young man, young adult, to the point where when we grow up, we graduate high school. So when he grew up, instead of going to college or trade school or doing some other type of thing that we do, that we call starting a career or getting a career, he moved on to his next phase in life. Which that phase would have been him going into that desert for 40 days. And going into that desert 40 days, that's where the creation of him began, of his phase 2. So in this phase 2, Jesus made his way to this desert, and they say that he was there for 40 days. And what does that mean? Moses traveled with the people for 40 years. Noah was on the boat for 40 days. Where do we always get this 40 from? And so a lot of these things, make me curious, when I'm reading the Bible or listening to history or something, because it's always 40s and 7s and 6s and things like that. So we need to pay attention to that, because those type of things are the things that signal human intervention. People get involved in the stories of Jesus, the stories of God, the stories of the prophets, the stories of the disciples. Even the disciples' stories are a little bit twisted up, because remember, Matthew was telling a lot of the story about Jesus being in this desert. Jesus was alive, so he could have told the story. When you read the Bible, it's like writing in red. That's supposed to be Jesus talking. So why Jesus couldn't tell his own story to all of us about the desert? The disciples took notes, and then they recant their story. So remember those type of things when we getting into this type of stuff. So why the desert? Why did Jesus go into the desert for this rebirth? And mind you, at this point, Jesus was not, he was not at that phase of what we come to know him to be, for the sacrifice and all of that. This was him building up to that. And you'll get why I say that by the end of this whole session. So Jesus went into this desert. Remember, this is from the BLONGshow. This is not from the Bible. This is not from some divine intervention or something. This is from me paying attention to what I'm reading, paying attention to everything that I'm gathering, paying attention to the times that I had spiritual awakenings, and using that. Not listening to another person, not being a follower, but being a man that has enough sense to pay attention to what he's reading and put it together. Jesus was born in the winter, but that baby had everything he needed. Full nourishment of a human being. Full covering for a human being. All the wants that he could want as a child being born, he had that. The only thing was it was the winter. Him and his family had to fend for the winter. They had to be strong enough to override the winter. So now he's moving off into a desert, a desolate land, with minor nourishment for the human body. Why? Because he came into it with nourishment. He had to live that in order to know that. Now he's gone into the desert where he doesn't have, in order for him to live through that and go through that. A lot of people say, oh, Jesus died for us. He died for all our sins. I don't believe that. I believe that in a way, but not literally like they say. So the way that I believe it is, you still need to put forth your effort. You still need to make the decision to be stronger and follow what Jesus laid out. He put it in there so that you could see that you can do this without sinning, without going the wrong way, without doing the wrong thing. That's what I believe. That's how I believe he died for us. Not for us to say, oh, hallelujah, I believe, and then we just okay. No. You got to put forth the effort that he did. You can't do what he did, but you can sure enough try. That's the effort. That's the death for you. Not you just get to do whatever and pray for forgiveness and then it's all good because you believe with the size of a mustard seed. It don't work like that. Not in my book. Not to my belief. And I feel like I got a place with God. It won't be one that, at least I think, it won't be one that sinners that don't care, that don't trust, that don't believe, that don't try is going to like. But I'm proud of it, if that's where I'm going to be. I feel like, Jesus, he went through this in order to show us that we can go through it without sinning. And once you get into that desert and you have your lack of food and you fasting, that's how we get in touch with our spirit a little bit better. See, a lot of people don't know what fasting is. They think they do. They think that they're doing some great fast, but they don't have a clue what fasting is. Like, some people think because they don't eat for a day or 2 days or 3 days, that's fasting. That's not fasting, that's just doing something. Fasting comes to a whole different level if you truly fast. Like, some people think that, okay, don't eat while the sun is up. You eat at dusk and dawn. That's not fasting. You just switched your diet hours. That's not fasting. Fasting, and if anybody that ever fasted, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So we got nerves in our body, and our nerves tell our body what's going on. And our brain uses different fluids to tell us what we should be doing. So when we don't eat for a while, and our stomach is used to that food being there and sitting there, our stomach and those nerves and our brain start working together to tell us you should eat something. A lot of us call that hunger. They say we hungry. What is hungry though? What does the word hunger stand for? What does the word hungry mean? A lot of times we're not hungry. We just have a sensation to do something. We just have a sensation to put something there because it's a little lower than it used to be. But our body doesn't need it. That's why so many people that's overweight these days. Our access to junk, and we're not even eating pure food no more. Don't let me get into high fructose corn syrup and all this stuff with cholesterol and sodium loaded in it. Don't let me get into that. But, to the story and the fact of the matter is, we don't need to eat like we eat. And so with us eating like that, that's us being in touch with our body. We've been in touch with our physical being. Because our physical nerves is telling our brain that we need to do this. And so we react to it and put something in our mouth. That's not what we have to do. So for anybody that's ever really fasted, fasting consists of you making it past that anxiety to eat. And when you make it past that anxiety to eat, some of us it might take 8 hours. Some of us it might take a day. Some of us it might take 2 days. Me, it take me around 12 hours. Around 12 hours, and I'm good. Once you make it past that, you don't need to eat. You won't have the urge to eat. You won't, eating won't be a problem for you. At that point, you have to actually choose to eat. So that's real fasting. And then you stay on it. Don't go back. Stay there while you're there and hold on to it. See me, if I don't eat after about 6, 7 hours, I get mean. And then I don't want to be bothered, like I'm short with people. But around 12 and a half hours, I'm my regular self. I'm very active. And I don't have the body thing going almost. And notice I said almost because it's still there. You're still not clear. But after about another 12 hours, so around 24 hours, my mind is clear. I can think. And see, a lot of us take that thinking as just thoughts and you clear-headed and all of that. No, you get more in touch with your spirit. You releasing that physical being more. And you getting more in touch with your spirit. And that's fasting. That's a true fasting. And so that's why Jesus went into that desert like that and did what he needed to do in order to get to his spirituality and away from the body. That was his only way to grow, to move to his next stage, his next phase in life. That was him going to college to be who he was and who he led us to be. And so when he went into that, once he made it past that part where he didn't need the body as much no more and he was in touch with his spirit, now he can listen. He can see where he's supposed to be going while he's in this body. He could see what preparation was there for him. So then we talk about him being tempted while he was there. So that's another thing that bothers me. People blame everything on the devil. Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, whatever you choose to call him. People like to blame all of their different problems on him and to say that he made them do this and made them do that. And people don't respect the devil or whatever you want to call him to who he really is. The devil is not a joke. The devil is not some small-time creature creeping around playing games with people. Satan reacts with God. Satan is a partner of God. He's in God's presence. Imagine that. You can't look at God. Moses couldn't look at God. But Satan interacts with him. Talks to him, conversations. Satan get instructions from him and come back here. And then if you say that I'm wrong or you say that I'm crazy and tripping, then you go read something for yourself sometime. Read the beginning of Job and then come back and say what I am. The beginning of Job will tell you Satan went with the angels and checked in with God. And he told God that basically he didn't need to do nothing else here because we was all so foolish already. And God said, but did you check on Job? Did you test Job? Preachers, all of these people will tell you that Satan asked to test Job. Satan didn't ask to test Job. Satan wasn't thinking about Job. Satan wasn't talking about Job. God brought Job up. God sent Satan to Job. Do your homework. Quit listening to people and read and think. Think for yourself. Don't fall for the games. So when they say that Satan tested Jesus while he was in the desert these days, I'm like, maybe, maybe not. Because for 40 days when Jesus was fasting, I don't think Jesus was just out there starving and not eating, period. He'd have been dead. Remember, he came here in the body of a human being. We have bodily functions that must happen. They must happen. And in order for him to show us where we need to be and what we need to be doing, he had to actually be a human being. Not a supernatural human being. Not a human being being taken care of any special way by God, any special way by the angels. Him himself, human being. Therefore, I believe that Jesus had a little water while he was out there. He had a little food while he was out there. He just didn't have a dinner. He didn't have a regular feast. He didn't have a regular meal. But he had. Other than that, he would have been crispy and died. It just don't work like that. We can't just walk around and don't drink no water for 40 days. We can't walk around and don't eat no food for 40 days. It don't happen. We'll waste away. We can't function. Prayer or not. Because think about it. They said that Satan was tempting him. So why do I even need, if I'm Satan, remember I told you, Satan is not an idiot. Satan is not as stupid as us. So if I got enough sense to think about this, and they say Satan was tempting Jesus in order for him to show what he could do on this earth because of who he was from God. If they say that Satan was doing that, then okay, Satan didn't even need to come, right? Because he was there for 40 days with no food or water. Let them tell it. He already played with God then, if that's the case. He already testing God, if that's the case. Because he's using his prayer and his power to survive as a human being in a desert with no food or water. I'm just saying. I ain't playing that game that everybody be playing of just listening to people and listening to these fun stories that these preachers and stuff tell you. And I ain't mad at them. It's a place for that. When I was a kid and I was growing up and a teenager, I'm glad I went to church and listened to those stories. Because those stories made me who I am today. Those stories gave me enough sense to think. Those stories made me be the believer who I am today. It's just that once I got grown and I started reading that book for myself, I seen the real story, the whole story. Not the story that the guy sat down, went through the scripture, caught a couple verses, and made him a story up. I ain't doing that. I'm actually reading all the words, even when I'm bored, because it's just names or repetition. Okay, I got to go back and read that again. Why was that even there? See, I'm doing all of that. And that's how I'm coming up with what I'm coming up with. And so the first temptation that they said was that the devil tempted him to turn stone into bread. Why do I need to turn stone into bread if I'm just here anyway and I ain't eating nothing for 40 days? I don't need to play that game. I'm already good. Because I just prayed and then I'm just good. It don't matter. It don't nothing matter because I'm going to be good anyway. Satan ain't that petty or that small. And Jesus wasn't either. So, the stone to the bread thing, that's out already. That's already just out. So then there was the took him to the temple to jump off the temple. So, I kind of get that because then The people, oh yes, that's just, people are like that. They'll be on his jock for the rest of forever. Jesus jumped off of there, but at the same time, when we compare that, why did he walk on the water then? So it's like we put all these things together and we just roll with them. I ain't rolling with them, man. Like, I'm only gonna believe something that makes sense to me, something that I really feel like, God is showing me. And to me, God's showing me, don't be a follower. Don't be a fool. Like, don't, just because it's the Bible, don't be like, oh yeah, yeah, like a lot of people do. Like, I believe the Bible is, like I said, he only left you basic instruction before life ends. 100%, I believe that. 100% I believe we need to roll with everything that's in the Bible. But to a certain degree, we have to pay attention. We can't be like, oh, that's literally just straight truth. They say Paul's epistles. They telling you that things are twisted. Judah, that was one of Jesus' disciples. Straight stab thing. That's like the real stab in the back for some change. So like, come on now. It's like you gotta put these things together. Don't just be like, yeah, because somebody tell you that, or because you read it firsthand. Read all the stuff. Put it together. Him showing everybody that he could jump off of that temple and the angels were saving, almost the exact same thing as him walking on the water. The only thing, it wasn't the same amount of people around. So let's don't be crazy. And then the last thing was that they said he would give him all the kingdoms of the world. People still like go for the nonsense, and like I'm a little lost on that one because I don't know what Jesus knew about himself or who he was or what he was supposed to be doing. Just like I don't know about myself, but I know what I'm trying and what I'm trying to be and what I'm trying to do, and I don't know, but I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know how I'm gonna get there. It's like, so Jesus just trying. I don't know if he already knew who he was going to be. So that temptation could have been possible for me. I haven't learned enough yet in order for me to say anything against it. That one, I think, could have been possible. But at the same time, what difference did it make to somebody that's humble? And tell me, Satan knew if Jesus was humble or not. So why would he even tempt him with that? Why bother? Like with me, I don't want to be over nobody. I want the world to be a better place and for us to live openly and free. I want us to be able to grow our own vegetables and raise our own food and not pay taxes and live in these governmental crazy societies where they blowing each other up with bombs and missiles and shooting each other, and then they take people to prison here for killing somebody that was trying to kill them over dumb stuff too, or maybe not even dumb stuff, but they ruining people's lives and stuff like that. But then they turn around and they go and just destroy a whole country, destroy a whole cities, just bombing them, blasting them. And think about it, the people that they claiming is the problem or doing it, like, they ain't nothing wrong with them. They still living their life. Like, I watched Putin the other day doing some crap where he was dipping in the ice water. Like, he went down in the ice water and came out. He's the one that's like in the war. And then Zelensky or whatever his name is, those two, like, the key players, they still straight. How many people done died, though, that don't have nothing, that don't have nothing to do with nothing? These two dudes got all kind of riches and stuff. But all of these poor people died. So, like, it's just weird. I'll just get back to this. So, like, I don't know if Jesus knew that or not. But then they say at the end of all of that, the angels came, nourished him, and he continued on into his next life as he graduated after those 40 days. Some of us roll with that, some of us don't. I'm one of them that I don't really roll with the angels came and nourished him and stuff, all that. Because for what? Once again, but I do believe that angels might have came to him and did anoint him. That was his anointing. That was his protection of his next phase, his graduation. He was in that desert in order to build himself up some more, to be prepared for the ultimate situation that was coming. The ultimate situation that we all know about, that all of these churches and people run around with crucifixes and crosses and stuff everywhere, and don't know why they wearing it or why they have it on their building. All of these things throughout his lifetime was the things that was building up until that point. He needed to be spiritually prepared for that point in order for him to make it through that. He couldn't just be born and then bam, he good enough to do that. We have to get enough experience to become who we are, what we should be doing, and how we should be doing it. That's how we grow. That's how we get bigger and stronger. And that's why I think I know what I'm going to be, because of what I go through and the information that is put on me and the pressure that's put on me and the things that I have to go through in life that I really don't have to go through. I could just choose to pick up and change, pick up and do something different. But I'm still like striving and pushing and forcing through these things. A lot of these things I don't have to put up with or deal with. I deal with it because of the people that are surrounding me, the people that's in my group. I'm in great shape. I'm great mentally. I'm great spiritually. I could just do anything I want to do at this point. But I'm living for the people because I feel like that's what Jesus did. I'm living for my purpose because I feel like that's what Jesus did. I'm being patient, supporting, and following God because that's what I feel like Jesus did. The things that I'm doing in my life right now and the things that I've done, a lot of them was inspired and guided by God. And that's why I just sit back and pray that God will keep on leading me because I haven't been able to fail in anything that God put me in. And I know that God put me in certain things because I wasn't trying to do them. I wasn't trying to let that happen. I complain about some here and there because I'm a man, but I can't do nothing but be grateful. You know, I got sick the other day and it felt terrible, like I was just falling apart and I couldn't work out. I really couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even sleep because I had slept already. I was just sitting there hurting. And, you know, for whatever reason, you just got to power through it and don't give up. Don't get down on yourself. It feels bad sometimes, but we got to just like stay strong and we can get to where we're supposed to be. God got a place for us. We just got to understand that place. We got to respect that place. And we got to respect what's going on. Jesus showed us that. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in my next story. It's the BLONG Show.